everybody, I'm Christy Vanover from Girls Can Grill. Today I'm cooking with cowboy charcoal and we're gonna make some cheesy stuffed meatballs. To get started, we're gonna wanna add a lot of moisture to these meatballs. So I like to take some panko breadcrumbs, mix them up with a little bit of milk, and we're gonna let this just sit together and absorb all of the milk until this bread really gets nice and soft. We'll let that sit for a minute. I wanna talk to you about the meat that we're gonna be using today. I've got a pound of ground pork, and I've also got a pound of ground beef. It's really important that you go with a good fat to meat ratio in your beef. I've got 80-20. You could go as high as 70-30 if you want to. That's gonna make your meatballs even juicier. What's really awesome about this recipe too is that we're gonna show you just some basic flavors today, a really traditional barbecue type style. But if you wanted to, you could turn this out with some chorizo. You could be using cilantro. You could use Italian sausage. You can make a lot of variety too. So if you're really throwing a good tailgate or a good New Year's party or any type of party, you can really mix that up and get a lot of variety of flavors. All right, this has been resting for a few minutes. Let's go in and add in our meat. Again, we've got the ground pork here, the 80-20 ground beef. For our aromatics, we're gonna use just a couple cloves of minced garlic. I've got a 1/4 cup of parsley. Again, this is where you could change the flavors. If you're going with the Italian sausage or something like that, you could throw in some oregano or some thyme would be nice. For my barbecue seasoning, we're gonna go with my PK. This is my pork rub. We're gonna mix in just about a tablespoon. And then my rub's not heavy on salt, so we're gonna add in about a teaspoon of salt as well. All right, now really get in there. This is one of the reasons I've got these gloves on. It allows me to really dig in, mix up all the flavors. Be sure that you scoop up from the bottom because you really want to get this bread mixture nice and in all of the different pieces. All right, you can see here that I need to keep mixing because not all of this is in here. It takes a little bit of time, but it's definitely worth it. You can make these in advance, which is really awesome. Like I said, for parties, you can throw them in your freezer, and then when you're ready for company, you just take them out and then let them chill in the fridge until it's party time. All right, that's pretty good. That's what we're looking for. Now that we got everything mixed up, we're gonna go ahead and make our meatballs. You can make them any size you want to. You can even do little mini meatballs, but since we're gonna stuff these with cheese, I usually go for about 1.5 to 2 inches. With this amount of meat, you should end up with about 20 to 24 meatballs. I like to make all my meatballs first, and then we're gonna stuff in the cheese. All right, now that all the meatballs are rolled out, it's time to stuff them with some cheese. Go ahead and take the ball. Just stick your thumb in there just a little bit to make a pocket. I've got these cheese cubes that I've already chunked up. This is Oaxaca cheese. It melts really nicely. And then you're just gonna tuck it back inside, roll it back up. You wanna make sure it's as sealed as possible so the cheese doesn't ooze out. One thing that's awesome about this recipe is just like you can change up the meat and the flavors, you can also change up the cheese. The Oaxaca is great with barbecue. It's also great if you're using chorizo, but if you wanna do an Italian style meatball, go ahead and throw in some mozzarella. All right, we've got the grill fired up to 300 degrees with some cowboy charcoal. We're using the apple wood briquettes. I also added in some cherry wood because I love the color that you get with cherry. It's gonna give us a little bit of a mahogany color on there. Let's go ahead and add these meatballs to the grill. I actually have the diffuser plate in here. It's gonna give us a little bit of indirect heat cooking so we don't have flare-ups because I did use such a high level of fat content in this beef. If I put it directly over the fire, we would see some flare-ups and that would cause the cheese to melt just a little bit too fast for us. Now that we have these on, another little secret, I hit it with a little bit more rub. This is also gonna add a little bit more color, a little bit more flavor, and a little bit of crust. All right, these meatballs have been on for about 15 minutes. We're gonna give them a peek. Okay, when you make cheese stuffed meatballs, sometimes some of the cheese oozes out. That's okay, we're gonna give these a flip. All right, hit them with a little bit more rub for a little bit more of that color and to create a little bit more bark. I'm gonna let them go for another 15 minutes. We're looking for an internal temperature of 165. All right, the meatballs have been on for another 10 to 15 minutes. Now we're gonna hit them with some cowboy range style sauce. It's a little sweet and a little tangy. You can see that these have some beautiful color. That's thanks to that cherry wood that we put on, along with a little bit of that PK rub. The sauce is gonna make them even more beautiful. All we're doing now is just setting the sauce on here. It's gonna pick up a little bit of that charcoal and wood flavor, add a little touch of that kiss of smoke to it. We're gonna let that set for about 5 minutes so that smoke really sets in there and it gets a little bit more caramelized, and then we'll serve them up. All right, the meatballs have been on for just a couple of minutes just to set that sauce. Oh, they're looking awesome. All right, we're gonna get these all plated up. These meatballs are awesome for game day. Definitely throw a good tailgate party, whether you're at home or at the ballpark. You can also serve these up for fancy nights like New Year's Eve. These are definitely family pleasers. All right, these are ready. You know, if you're doing them appetizer style, you can definitely stick in a few cute toothpicks. Check out this cheese pull. Woo, cheese pull for days. This is what I'm talking about. All right, hitting up with a little bit of parsley to finish things off. You guys be sure to like, follow, and subscribe, and go to cowboycharcoal.com to find all of these delicious recipes. Until next week, keep cooking with Cowboy.